welcome everybody. So today is about Q&A with a digital marketer, which is me, and the Mandurah regions, the new Business Women's Australia chapter that we'll speak about as well. So for those who I have not met before, I'm Cathy Smith. I'm the attraction maven at CATCO Enterprises, and I've been helping my customers attract their dream customers online easily for nearly 19 years now. And we also have the lovely Sue Daley from suedailey.com.au, and Sue is going to be our new BWA Mandurah Regions chapter leader. And for those that jumped on early, we were discussing about what we're actually going to call the Mandurah regions, because obviously Mandurah, we don't want to exclude anybody, so we might have a bit of a conversation at the end about that as well. So say hi, Sue.
Good morning. Sorry, I did mute myself. I was doing what I was told.
That'll be a first. All right. So Business Women's Australia are a national collective. So their part of the charter is to be culturally sensitive. So we do an acknowledgement of country. So in the southwest area here, the Noongar people are the Aboriginal traditional owners. So we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Noongar peoples, on which we are gathered, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. And we support and celebrate our Indigenous sisters in business. Okay, so BWA has been around in various forms for quite a while. And a few years ago, they all got together with a think tank of some lovely ladies and worked on a mission and a vision. So this is the mission and the vision. So where everyone is valued and can contribute to the greater good, demonstrating a new way as Australia's #1 national collective, and that focuses on women and business. And our mission is we share our vision by helping others achieve goals and dreams, building a network of influence, creating opportunities to grow your knowledge and improve the visibility of business women in Australia. So, as I said, we're a national collective. So who are we for? Well, basically any women that is involved in business. So from business owners to directors to professionals to your C-suite, so your CEOs, your CFOs, all of those kind of ladies, women on board, and leaders and emerging leaders, which is definitely a big passion of Lynn's. And I'll tell you who Lynn is in a minute. She does a lot with the universities to help those young ladies who are just starting their business careers. So we have 5 areas of development. We have leadership, business improvement, personal growth, influence and profile, and connecting. So generally when I do the presentation, I like to pick out one area. So maybe today we might talk about connecting, because of course with the Mandurah regions coming back online, we really want to get a strong presence right from Southern Metro right down to as far south as we can go, connecting in with Bunbury as well, because we do have an existing Bunbury chapter, and I'll let you know some of the events that are happening there as we go along. Okay, so we have shared values. So together we can achieve more. So you can see that there's quite a few really good values there. And obviously positive energy and optimism has been a huge one this year with all the craziness that's been happening. So if you're having a bit of a dark day, remember to keep your chin up. And half of it, of course, is mindset. And if we get up and shake it off and go, let the universe bring us good things, then I'm sure you'll feel a little bit better. Okay, so there's lots of benefits of becoming a member. So you can come to these events as a non-member, and the paid events you will pay a little bit more. But we would really love you to join us as a member. Now we do have some exclusive things that are members only, but here are a few of the great benefits. And obviously being in digital marketing, one of my highlights is a direct list a directory listing on the BWA website. So Google likes to see high quality, what they call backlinks. So it's links back to your website. And Business Women's Australia website gets a lot of traffic. So we are seen by Google as a great resource. So by becoming a member, you do get a backlink from BWA, which is a great thing for digital marketing, and lots of other events. There's a lot of online stuff, and we will be keeping a fair bit of online stuff. And then there's collaborations and co-creations, plus discount events, as I spoke about earlier. Okay, so we're everywhere on social media. So there's lots of different ways to find us and contribute. Now, we do have a free LinkedIn group, and you don't have to be a member to be part of that. So if you're not, I definitely recommend, regardless of whether you decide to become a member, to jump on that. It has over 2,000 women in it Australia-wide. So it's a really great resource, and you can post in that as often as you like. And of course, LinkedIn is a great way to get your message out. So if you're looking for us, there's obviously all our handles, and we do use those hashtags quite a lot, as well as local ones too. So I use the BWA Bunbury, and once we decide on what this chapter is going to be called, we'll have a hashtag for that too. So it'll be the BWA Mandurah regions, or whatever we do decide to call this chapter. So look out for those. Okay, so we couldn't do what we do without our partners. So we have some absolutely wonderful partners. I was lucky enough to be asked to contribute a couple of years ago, and I've now become a gold partner. So that's my business there, CATCO Enterprises. And then we have solo accounts. So if you're looking for a really easy way to do your accounts and Xero and all the rest are baffling you, look at solo accounts. And the great thing about that is you can actually speak to Donna Vincent, who is absolutely fabulous bookkeeper. She designed this because she saw that she was having a lot of trouble with some of her trade style clients who didn't need payroll. They didn't need all the extra stuff that was all too difficult. So she designed this app. And brand new, we have Torrens University. So at the moment, it was released yesterday. There's the opportunity to get a full scholarship to Torrens University. So it will be for a postgrad, so a bachelor, a diploma, or a master's. And Torrens Uni is in the eastern states, but it's all done online. So there is a competition out at the moment where you can actually win a full scholarship. And anybody who enters into that and isn't successful, they will be eligible for a mini scholarship, which will be a 15% reduction in fees for any of those courses. So in the thank you letter, we will send out full details about that as well. Then we have Hawkins Marketing, which is Lynn Hawkins's business, who I'll tell you who Lynn is in a second. And we have Intact Teams, who the lovely Jess Schubert, she's into coaching and leadership. And then we have a few others, and we have the wonderful Pauline Bright, who is on the call today, and she's one of our sponsors as well. So we definitely couldn't do what we do without all our sponsors. So really appreciate everybody involved there. Okay, so to become a member, it's just $300 a year, or $299 for the year. And if you do want to do some co-collaborations or step up to the next level, there are premium memberships available as well. Okay, so Lynn Hawkins, who I keep talking about, is our National Director. If you haven't met her, she's an absolute pocket rocket, gorgeous lady. And she will be coming to Mandurah for the next event. So we'll let you know about that a bit later on. Very open to questions, ideas, anything like that. So contact Lynn through the website or her email. All right, so I'm going to, whoops, one too far. Don't you love it when technology works for you? hand you over to Sue, and Sue's going to talk about the vision for the Mandurah region's BWA chapter.
Thank you, Cathy. Okay, thanks for joining us, everyone. And we've had a few people jump on since Cathy started. So hi, Gay. Hi, Anita. Hello, Pele. She made it. And yeah, so that's good to see. And Jay's also jumped on board as well. So good to see you, ladies. Basically, the lovely Pauline Bright used to run the Mandurah chapter a few years ago, which is when I became involved with the BWA. And I found it very supportive, especially as everyone who knows me knows I'm in the construction industry, so male-orientated, putting up with men every day. So it was really good to get out there and just be around some women and talk business with women that knew what they were doing. I spoke to Lynn and Cathy, it would have been late last year, I think, Cathy, when we were saying I'd really like to see something back in the Mandurah region because I was missing it. But when I spoke to a lot of my associates, people like Linda, Megan, and people from the Peel Chamber of Commerce that I associate with, what we were finding is we had that lack of support where we could just sit there and brainstorm ideas. If someone was struggling with something, the way of putting some ideas together. And that's how this new concept has come about. So the BWA Mandurah region, or whatever it is to be known, which I'll mention in a moment, is basically we're going to have a theme each month and we're going to have a round table effect as well. So basically, like Cathy today, we'll do Q&A for digital marketing, and then we'll open the board up to a Q&A session and we can actually all input. It's not just Cathy that's going to give us answers, we can all give answers to questions. And I just feel that way we're all supporting each other, but we can all learn from each other as well. So we've all got our experience in different ways of doing things. So I think it's really good to learn from each other moving forward. And we are doing Zoom for this one, obviously, but the next couple we will be holding at the Pinjarra Golf Course. We've actually been given the club rooms access to that, so we'll have that lovely view there. And we'll see how that goes for a couple of months. And we're always open if there's other venues that people would like to get to. We're always open to, mixing it up and going to different places. So we're all open to that. So that's it for now. The biggest thing, as Cathy said, that when we first got onto the call was we were going to call it the Peel region, but that due to the Battle of the Peel, which I've only just recently found out about. Battle of Pinjarra, sorry, yes. We have felt that we need to be more conscious of what we're calling it. So we have chosen Mandurah regions for now, but we don't want to exclude anyone because this group does incorporate everyone from Rockingham, as Sandra is in Rockingham, all the way down to Lake Clifton. So it does incorporate the Peel region over to Rockingham as well. So we're going to try and brainstorm that a little bit later in the Q&A if anyone's got any ideas. It does need to be a regional or a geographical location name. And we're going to, consider looking at maybe the original region's name, which is Bunbury, but I'll be talking to Robin Clark and also a traditional owner who she has been working with to see about getting the Peel region renamed and seeing if we would be allowed to use the original region's name. So, but we're open to other suggestions as well, so we can bring that up in the Q&A. But how about, Cathy, we get going on just a couple of things now that we're getting over the COVID. I don't know about the rest of the country, and see what we can do moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you, Sue. All right. So we have a lot of events on with BWA, Business Women's Australia. Some of them are online. Some of them are in person. Now, the ones I've highlighted in red are obviously our regional ones. So on the 23rd of July, we have Bunbury, which is at the Side Door, which is a lovely restaurant in the main street of Bunbury. And we're having Vida Carlito, who's from the hills of Perth, come down and do a workshop on women without masks. Then we have some online ones. Now, the Free Fall Fridays is just basically a free fall chatting with Lynn Hawkins. So that started in COVID when we couldn't get out, and it was every Friday, but now it's been moved just to the last Friday of the month. So that's always good fun. And jump on Zoom, grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea or coffee or whatever your preference is. And there's ladies from all over Australia on that.
That's what it was for, really, was a catch up with a glass of wine. That's how it started.
It was just to support everybody. So Sue's been to that a couple of times, and it's definitely been a good event, hasn't it, Sue?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's still happening on the last Friday of every month. There's the online bookkeeping for sole traders with Donna Vincent. So as I've mentioned before, Donna's a gold partner. And then in the 4th of August is the first Perth event in person. So that's going to be a wine and tapas in Leederville with the lovely Jo Bradbury. Jo's been a member for a long time, and she has 3 Drops Winery. So the 3 Drops, they do wine, they do olive oil, and they have water on their property. So that's where the 3 Drops comes from. And then if you feel like writing a book, Bev Ryan, who's one of our Eastern States members, she's all into how to write books and how to write them easily. So that's online. So you've got that opportunity. And then we've got the really 2 important ones, which of course are Mandurah and Bunbury. So we're having Pitch Perfect, which is with Sue Daley and Lynn Hawkins, which will be at the Pinjarra Golf Course on the 19th of August. And then on the 23rd of August, and I've repeated it, I've done a typo there, it's actually a lunch, and that is with Donna Fargua, I think is how you say it, and she's the Shadow Minister for Women's Education and Training in Western Australia. So she's coming down to Bunbury for a lunch, and it'll be a bit of a Q&A session. So if you want to know anything about where the opposition want to take women's issues, definitely be a great event to come down to. All right, so there's our Women Without Masks and our Back to Basics with Jo Bradbury. So if you do have the opportunity, it's 4 in the afternoon till 6, so quite easily if you've got a skipper to get back. What we tended to do with Bunbury is we tended to get a group of girls to go and carpool, so only one person had to drive, so that might be an option to going up to that Leederville one, or coming down to Bunbury, of course, as well. And then we've got the ones there with Sue, and non-typo on this one. So the Honourable Donna is going to be coming down for education, training and women's interests. So that should be a very good event. All right, so let's talk about digital marketing. So for those that have jumped in late, I am Cathy Smith, the attraction maven at CATCO Enterprises. I've been doing all things marketing for 19 years in my own business, and yeah, a lot more working for other people previous to that. Okay, so basically CATCO Enterprises empowers thriving business owners to break through the digital disconnect to attract dream customers online easily. So what I thought I'd do is just do a couple of questions I get asked all the time, and something that comes up very frequently, and especially at the moment, is do I need a website? You've got so many opportunities out there with social media. Do you really need a website? And the simple answer is yes. So shall we move on? No. All right, I'll explain a bit more. We definitely do need a website. If you think about renting a house, so you've rented a house and you want to put on a beautiful patio and an outdoor kitchen and a swimming pool. There's no way that you're going to spend that sort of money on a property that you don't own, because at the end of the lease, the end of the week, the end of the month, whenever it comes up, the owners of that property go, oh, wow, that's fantastic. Thanks for doing that for us, but we're not renewing your lease. Well, that's what social media is like. So people put all their marketing dollars, their time and effort into social media, and then the rules change. or it disappears completely. So you've seen things like MySpace and some of the others disappear. And then you've seen Facebook go through ups and downs with privacy and all of that sort of thing. You've seen accounts that have been totally closed because people say, but I didn't do anything wrong. But there's no jury, there's no judge, there's nowhere you can go back to argue. So you definitely do need a website because you own that property. So make sure that you do actually own it and you do own the domain name and it's not tied up in some unscrupulous provider, because unfortunately our industry is not regulated. So there's definitely wonderful digital marketers and social media people involved, but there's also unfortunately bad apples like everything. So the great thing about a website is that it's a container that you can put everything in. So you can put all your social media assets, so you can run your feeds to it. You can also search in websites, of course, which in some social medias can be quite difficult. And it's evergreen. So if you ever tried going and looking for something that you've seen on Facebook a day, a couple of days before, and especially if you don't remember the name of who it was, the feed goes and it flicks past and you've lost it. Whereas if you put the same information, maybe reworded slightly, onto your website, they've got more chance of being able to find it again. Okay, another one is how many times a week should I post on social media? And like most things in marketing, that depends. So some people say once a day. Some people say once a week. Some people say 10 times a day. Now, all of those people are probably right in their situation. So what you need to be doing is looking at your insights or analytics on your actual accounts. So whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, Instagram, whichever one's your favourite, you need to be checking about when your people are looking and test and measure. So if you've got great content, you can put more out. But it's absolutely pointless putting out 10 posts a day if it's crap, basically. So think about what you can do and what you can do consistently, and then see what your audience likes and doesn't like. So if you're putting out a lot of content and your views drop off, your reach drops off, then you're probably putting out too much. If you're only doing it once a week, it's probably not enough to keep people engaged and occupied. But if you can only put out once a week and it's really good quality content, then that's better than 5 or 6 times a week when it's no good. So just think about what you can manage, test and measure it, and see how you go. And of course, you can get people to help you do that. Now, the other thing too is make sure that you're drip feeding it. Make sure that you're not putting it all out on a Monday morning every week. So if you're going to put out 5 posts a week, make sure they do go out over the week as opposed to 5 on a Monday, because that's really going to annoy your audience, and you'll find your reach will definitely drop off if you do it all in one day. So there's lots of different ways to schedule it, and there's lots of different people that can help you. So just think about what you're doing there. Okay, another big one is you have lovely stuff on your social media, your website, and then you go and get a business card printed, and it's a completely different colour. Now, why is that? Well, this is a colour gamut. So if you look, and you should be able to see my mouse, I'm on the outside here. If you look at this circle, that is what we can see. So you can see there's a huge range of colours that we can actually see if you've got good eyesight. And then when we go into this sort of yellowy circle, and I hope nobody's colourblind because it might be a bit difficult to see there, into the yellow sort of circle, then that's cutting down the colours again. But that's what you can see on the screen. So then when we hit this sort of red circle, that's Pantone printing colours. So that's if you're buying a specific colour of ink and having it printed in one ink colour. And then what most commonly happens these days, and especially for business cards, and especially if you're using some of the cheaper end business card printers, is they print in CMYK or full colour or process colour. So that's this blue section, and sorry, my mouse keeps dropping off, so you probably can't see it too well. That's this blue section in the middle there. So that's the smallest of the colours. So you can see if you've got a beautiful green, like Esther has in her technology logo, or if you have a really vibrant blue or oranges, those colours are very difficult to print in CMYK. So if you think about somebody like Cadbury's, they have the most amazing purple. So everything that's printed for Cadbury's is printed in what we call a fifth colour. So it's your CMYK process colours, but then they have that purple printed as purple, not a combination of the colours, to make sure that their brand name is staying true to colour. So if you're getting things like your printing's not coming out the same way as your digital assets, then you really need to look at getting a graphic designer to tweak your colours a little bit to make sure that you are going to get the best result that you can get. And this is why, because it's just a huge difference in what we can see to what we can print. All right, can I post cat videos? That's a huge one because, of course, cat videos go viral. And if you're a doggy person, same thing. So it really depends, once again. Esther, who's on the call, who's a very good friend of mine, she's a cat lady and her branding is all about cats. So she's able to post cat videos, no problems at all. With my name being CATCO Enterprises, I probably could post cat videos as well because my logo is a puma. I'm not actually a cat person, which is a little bit ironic. But it really does depend. So if you were a computer person talking about something to do with animals wrecking computers by sitting on them or coffee being spilt on them, that sort of thing, then you definitely could post a cat video. But you need to think about what that's going to do for your business. So if you're someone like Sue, who's into doing her design work for the construction industry and working in her other businesses, which is Mayola Construction and High Performance Electric. Maybe the electric one you could talk a little bit about cats, but generally you couldn't. So it's absolutely pointless getting all these views from people who don't want to use your services. They just think that the cat's kind of cute. So when you are posting stuff, just think about how it can add value to your audience. So yes, it's great to have the occasional Friday funny and make people laugh, that sort of thing, and especially if it's been a really hard week. But if all your content is about Friday funnies or similar, then you're not going to attract people that can actually buy from you or want to buy from you. And at the end of the day, any of your digital marketing should have a return on investment. It should have an ROI. So you really do need to be thinking about what the perception of your business is. So if you're into accounting or legal profession, something like that, then an overly comical digital marketing strategy is not going to work for your business because you're not going to be attracting the right sort of people who are likely to buy from you. So when you're thinking about your digital marketing, you really need to think about people that you're adding to your tribe. Are they potential clients or customers? Are they current customers or clients? Or could they help you get in front of those potential customers or clients? And they're the sort of people that you really need to be attracting to either your website or any of your social media. So when people say that they have thousands of likes and views and people following them, that's great if they're your tribe, if they're the people who actually are going to help you grow your business and get ahead. If they're not, then they're just what we call vanity numbers. and you can get your big bag of marbles like you used to have in the old days and go out and throw them all over the road and spread them everywhere. They may or may not hit 1 or 2 people. So what you want to be doing is thinking about targeting that to people who actually could help you grow your business or are likely to buy from you. All right, and the other one I get a lot is marketing is a waste of money. And yes, it can be, absolutely can be. If you follow any phone call that you get that says, oh, we can get you hundreds of likes, hundreds of views, hundreds of hits to your website, then you probably are wasting your money. So as I've said, you really need to target it, to get in front of people who are likely to buy your products. And that's the other mistake that people make, is they think that social media they can't sell. Yes, you don't want to be the person that goes in for the kill as soon as you get a LinkedIn connection and then suddenly your messages are full of buy. You do have to get that know, like and trust factor. You do need to build that credibility, but you also need to ask for the sale at some point. So a good rule of thumb is 1 to 5. So if you give 4 pieces of content that are going to add value, and then the 5th one, you say, did you know that we do website design? We have a free audit if you would like to do that. Or did you know that we actually do social media marketing? That sort of thing. So make sure that you're adding value and adding content, but remember to tell people about your services. So in Sandra's case, she's a virtual assistant. Now, virtual assistants have sweet spots. Some ladies do administration, some do basically bookkeeping. Sandra does social media and newsletters. So she needs to remember to tell her audience that she can help them with those sorts of things. So used properly, marketing definitely is a great opportunity and can bring in customers for you. So during the COVID, we had some hospitality clients. Now, one of them was a restaurant. Now, they couldn't actually open their doors and let people come in. They hadn't been online before and they hadn't done takeaways before. So we had to change the way we were marketing to their audience. So the first thing we did was we did fruit and veggie boxes for people that couldn't actually get out and go and do their own shopping, because of course everybody was told to stay in and only have 1 or 2 people go out at a time. And we have a lot of elderly people in the region. So we organised these fruit and veggie boxes that were delivered once a week. And then they added extra stuff. So they added like homemade meals and homemade cakes and breads and that sort of thing. So by changing their marketing, we were able to basically keep them alive for the first 3 or 4 weeks in COVID until they got that takeaway piece up, and then until people were more comfortable and the legislation and everything were relaxed, that people could then start going out. So just think about your marketing. It's not static, and you do need to be talking to your people. All right, so you've probably heard enough from me. So we're going to open it up to Q&A. So both Sue and I will answer your questions here. So Q&A on anything to do with Business Women's Australia, Business Women's Australia Mandurah regions, or digital marketing. So I will stop sharing my screen. Actually, no, I won't, because I've got some other things to tell you in a minute. Actually, I will, and then I'll start it again so that we can see everybody. So yes, do we have any questions?
I have a question about Business Women's Australia, because I've never attended anything with you guys just yet, but I'm very interested in doing so. So how often do you catch up? And I know I saw your sort of list of events in previous slides. Is that how often you catch up? Is that the only times that you do, or is there something else with that?
So we have Bunbury, which is once a month. Mandurah will also be once a month. So Bunbury is the third Thursday. Yeah, third Thursday of the month. Mandurah will be the second Wednesday of the month. And in between that, generally at least once a week, if not more, there's online events happening. And then there's bigger signature events in Perth, probably, I'd say quarterly. Obviously with COVID, a lot of that's being cut. And in the summertime, we have more events than that. And then at the moment, all the Eastern States ones are still online as well, which is why you're being able to get to some of those boardroom events and the book writing and that sort of thing. As they're allowed to, some of those will go back in person. So obviously we won't have access to those being over here. But there are, at least an event every week at the moment, and certainly 2 a month in the Southern Metro down to South West area, and then the signature events from time to time in Perth as well.
And you can attend as many as you like or as little. Like our region, Linda, it will be once a month. Yep. But there is plenty of online ones that you can join on if you've got free time. I know I jump on whenever if I end up being at home, which is a rare event lately. So, yep. But I jump on when I can, just to liaise with some others. So, but we're gonna focus on once a month here. As I said, the next 2 will be at the Pinjarra Golf Course, and we are open to suggestions for different locations, so we don't have to have it at the same place every time. But we do need an area where we can sit around and literally we're not sitting at desks just looking, we're sitting like in a round table kind of fashion and talking to each other. So.
Okay. And do you help out with, I struggle with content in my digital media sort of platforms, which I haven't, to be honest, I haven't got a website yet. I'm still working on, but I think where I get stuck is my content. What are my viewers looking for? I sort of write things down that I'm like, nah, they don't want to know about that. So do you offer sort of assistance in those areas, the brainstorming, or you do?
So we do 2 different service offers there. We do a digital marketing strategy where we would sit down with you and work through your exact needs, look at your insights, that sort of thing, look at what your people like, and we can then basically train you how to do it. And we do right through to total social media management as well. So,
and that's all part of the membership, is it?
No, that's actually my business, which is CATCO Enterprises, so that's separate.
But what we are going to do is open up, like each month, if there's things that people do want to talk about, then we'll add them to our list for each monthly meeting. So the next one is Pitch Perfect, because obviously with everyone coming out of the COVID, they're starting to get in front of people. We just want to make sure that when you're talking to people, you get your pitch right. So that's why that next one, and we'll have time at next week meeting. So Lynn's going to run through how she looks at being a good pitch, and then we'll actually come up with our own and we'll bounce them off each other and see what everyone thinks. So that's what next month's going to be about. So something like that, if you've got some questions there, Linda, and you think, well, that's something I wouldn't mind hearing about, add it to the list and we'll get it in. So I think we've got this year's all planned. At this stage, Cathy, we've got the next few months planned just so that we knew what we had coming up. But we definitely can add ideas. So that's what Mandurah is all about, is just seeing what we need in the region, because it is very different running a business, as Cathy knows as well, and Esther, and that in our regions than it is in the metro. So we have to look at things differently. So that's why I wanted to keep it the round table ideal.
And we do.
Can I just weigh in on that one as well?
Yes. Yeah, go.
So what happens, which is just lovely, there's this beautiful synergy that happens when you participate in anything to do with BWA. You have, so you'll have a presenter presenting a topic, but there's usually those side conversations that you have as well. And they're the conversations where you can ask questions of the other people in the room. You can listen to what other people have got to say. And what I've found is that it'll spark some ideas. So, you know, if we're talking about, let's say we're talking about social media, for example, and, you know, I always write notes. So I've already got a page of notes from today. And so I write things and I think, okay, so that's a spark. That's something that I can talk about, something that it would be relevant to my audience. And I found that the more you participate, the more ideas you get. So it's not just a matter of having a list of ideas, it's actually making your own content just from the conversations you have, what you read, what you listen to, all that stuff. There's an absolute richness of content to be had.
It's so good to have Pauline back on this Zoom. We have missed you in the Mandurah region, Pauline.
Oh, thanks.
So part of the monthly events sometimes are workshops. So we have had Pauline do workshops before, and we've had all sorts of different people. So sometimes they can be a really good place where you can actually have a bit of a brainstorming as well. Pillay, who's here with us, she's the personality photographer. So one of the workshops I went to was about how to actually get ready to have professional photos done. And Pillay told us all about how to stand and how to look. And although you probably wouldn't realise, I'm pretty much an introvert and I absolutely hate having my photo taken. But Pillay's actually taken my photos twice and I've been absolutely wrapped with them. And she made me feel so comfortable. So in that workshop, it was great to sort of go, okay, stand this way, do this, do that. And it was also about the right sort of photos for you as well. So obviously my brand being pretty professional, I needed to have more professional photos. The second lot of photos I had was actually done with a lady who runs a cafe down here, and she's sustainable. Annie Malone, who's also a member, and so her photos were a bit more whimsical because that's the way her cafe is. They're earthy, sustainable. So she had some gorgeous ones with the wind blowing in her hair, which looked really great. So yeah, we definitely do workshops on different topics as well.
Do you know one of the best things about the Pillars workshop as well, the photography one, was that you get your photo taken along with other women as well. So you get the chance to have a laugh, have something to eat, have something to drink, relax into the whole atmosphere, and really capture the real essence of you, instead of just being in a room with a photographer that's just like, that's very scary. But being in a room with other people who are talking, laughing, chatting, all that sort of stuff, fooling around, you get to have a really good time, but you get a much better representation of who you are as well. So I think that's probably the most important point. So for me, I've been in BWA for a very long time, and the thing that I get out of it, as much as the group stuff that happens, which is really important and it's really good fun, is the friendships you form. So, you know, you've got this wonderful lifeline to a bunch of people that you really care about and who care about you, and you can have those conversations. You know, you can drive in the car down to Bunbury with Sue and have a long conversation about all sorts of amazing things. And it's just that opportunity to just connect with people and talk through what's going on and what you need help with and things like that. So it's not all formalized. It's very much about the relationships and the friendships you make.
And the beautiful thing with Mandurah is we're a work in progress. This is our first one. The Zoom one was just the intro, and then we're going to be in person. So, and this is where the members of Mandurah get to have that voice. You get to say to us, this is what we would like to see. So we've done it as an open round table to start with, but if people want something different, then that's where the members, they get a say. They get to help mould Mandurah, basically, because it is brand new. It's again brand new. So Pauline ran it beautifully for the years that I was there, and we did greatly miss when she had to pull back. So, but I love getting Pauline's feedback on everything that we do. So yes, having the drive down to Bunbury is always a bonus. So have we got any other questions at this time? Cathy's done a good job.
Got everybody quiet. Jay, who's also on the call, has done a different workshop with us as well. She did one in Bunbury last year, and was talking about positive energies, and we got to play with Play-Doh, so that was lots of fun. So yeah, we do lots of different things, and yeah, Play-Doh for adults.
So just going back over something we did mention earlier when Linda first came on, before everyone else joined us, there was the issue in regards to naming our chapter the Peel region, and just because it is culturally insensitive. So we are looking at renaming it. One suggestion was actually naming it to what the area was called, which at the original region was known as the Bunbury region, named after the traditional owners. But we need to find out if that's permissible to use. But we are open to names. If you can think of anything that you think would be good to utilise, or a good name that you think would represent who we are down here, then yeah, we're open to all of them. So we are trying to keep it regional. So like we've got Perth, we've got Bunbury, there's, what did you say, Cathy? There's Hobart, there's Melbourne, there's which is the Queensland one. Is it Queensland or is it actually Brisbane?
So we've got Brisbane, and we do have Sunshine Coast. We have Sydney, and we have Melbourne as well. So we are national. So yeah.
So I've actually thrown into the chat box the link to August's meeting at the Pinjarra Golf Course with the lovely Lynn Hawkins doing Pitch Perfect. So if you want to know what you should say about yourself in those first 5 minutes, that is the place to be. We will have light refreshments there, and there will be tea and coffee available thanks to the lovely Pinjarra Golf Course as well. So it's a beautiful place. You get a beautiful view, and we will be on our own within the club rooms because they don't open until lunchtime. So we have the run of the mill as such. So, and you'll get to meet the lovely Tiffany, who couldn't join us today. She's currently away on holidays. So you will get to meet her as well. So is
Perfect.
there anything anyone wants to raise?
Sue.
Yes.
Hey, Anita.
Hi, Sue. I'm Anita. How are you
Anita.
doing? Teresa told me all about you with our coffee yesterday from the PDC. It's all right. It was all good. Don't stress. So, look, I just wanted to introduce myself. I actually work for an Indigenous-owned company locally. So I'm very happy if you wanted to be introduced to any of the elders locally, and I can even help with that. I know Rob and Clark, and I know that conversation's already had, but his sons live in the region, and he's an elder that does all the welcome for countries for all the dignitaries that come into Perth. So I'm sure he would have some ideas for us, and he's got some amazing daughters that I'd really like to introduce to this group. They're doing some amazing things in their own industries. So yes, I'd love to. If you want any help with that, please let me know, and I can always put it out there.
No, that sounds wonderful, Anita. I'll flick you my phone number through on the chat as well, just so that you've got it there. So give us a call at any time. Now, I'm open to all of that because I think, Cathy, that's a good idea, because it's the people in this area we want to just acknowledge as well. But obviously, we don't want to upset anyone, hence the reason we straight away, as soon as we heard from Cathy about the battle of in Pinjarra, that we took it straight off and we changed it back to Mandurah. But we don't want to exclude anybody either, and there's a lot more to this region than just Mandurah. And I have had a few people say, why is it always Mandurah? Why is it always this? So we don't want anyone to feel that way. I mean, Sandra's up in Rockingham, and I've always considered Rockingham across to Byford and down as this region. So we want to make sure we incorporate everybody. And Bunbury's our neighbour, so that's why Cathy and I are working together on these meetings. It keeps us all close, and I'm happy if people do want to go down to Bunbury and want to carpool. Look, I've got a tank, so I'm happy to throw a few of you in the back. And
I was in Bunbury. I was in Bunbury earlier this week for the first regional Wirra Hub meeting, which was really interesting, with all local Indigenous business down there. So that was really exciting. So there's lots of links with Bunbury.
Beautiful.
It takes me 45 minutes to get to Bunbury. We're close.
Yep,
Definitely.
Exactly. I'd rather go to Bunbury than to Perth, sorry, but traffic's much nicer going back.
Then you get to go to the Bunbury Farmers Market. That's the only problem, because you spend too much money.
Yes, living here, it definitely makes it very difficult. And at one point, my son actually worked there and he didn't have a driver's license. So I had to drop him off. So he started doing 3 and 4 shifts a week, which started to become very expensive. So what we might do at this stage is get each lady in turn to say who they are, what their business is, and what they've found useful from today. So we might start with Anita. Seems that you almost told us what you did.
Yeah, before we start, Anita, like Anita, there's Megan and there's Linda, ones that have not been involved with Business Women Australia as well. Definitely give us your feedback and let us know what you think and what you think about, being part of the BWA group, because we've got a few members on here, and we're all obviously very biased. So yes, if you can let us know that as well, just as it being a first timer, so that would be good. Go for it, Anita. You're on.
My name's Anita Dell. I work for Australian Resources Group and Indigenous Managed Services. So we're a local company, we're Indigenous owned, we're the first Indigenous business on the CUA panel, which means we do temporary staffing for all government departments, as well as working with BHP, we're tier 1 with Rio. Through COVID, we won our first BHP contract and Development WA project. So we've grown through COVID, which was, it was freaky and scary at all the same time, but we've managed to get that happening. So we do local contracting and so recruitment, labour hire, but also contracting. So we've got a very broad spectrum where we also do leadership management, government department and cultural awareness training. So definitely can help work in that within any meetings if we need.
You're breaking up a bit, Anita. We're only probably catching every second word.
Okay, hang on. I'll take my video off.
Yeah, that
might
be better.
help if I don't have my video. Yeah. So how long's BWA been around?
Cathy and Pauline?
Yeah, Pauline might have to answer that one. I think probably the late 80s, early 90s. It started as a coffee club and it got rebranded as BWA in the late 90s, I think, early.
Yeah, I met Jennifer when I first was in Perth, so I'm trying to think how far back that was.
So I'm pretty sure I was a member when I worked in Perth long time ago when I was the state commercial manager for a company which did appliances. So I have been involved in these type of associations before, and it was really exciting to see that there was something local that I could become involved with again. I'm all about networking and collaborating and joining people with the right sort of like connections and opportunities. So I think today's been great. I loved meeting everybody. I've really appreciated being able to be here today. And my biggest actual takeaway, because I've done LinkedIn workshops locally at Make Place and I've done different things, but my biggest takeaway today was having I obviously from a recruitment company on my LinkedIn page, I regularly tell people all of the opportunities and, all the vacancies we have, but I don't do enough of the sales. I don't do enough of the, guess what, did you know that we do this? Did you know that we do that? So for me, that's interesting. I need to kind of incorporate that to educate people in what we're doing in our business. So that was my biggest takeaway. So yes, I have found it useful.
Great. Thanks, Anita. Okay, Megan, we can't see you, but can we hear you?
Oh, we have. Megan's got two.
Oh, yeah, Megan's too. Sorry, Megan. I'm looking at the wrong one. Hi, Megan.
That's all right. Sorry, I actually have no idea how I did that or how to fix it, but yeah, I don't know.
You're clever.
Don't mind me.
Oh, good. You're clever.
I'm Megan Moses. I own a local property management agency here in Mandurah called On Point Realty. So basically I started a rent roll from scratch 4 years ago now after moving down from Karratha, and do property management only. I refer all of my sales out to local sales reps just to be able to focus solely on doing one thing and being good at doing that one thing. I have loved starting business in Mandurah. I came here very fresh. I grew up in Bunbury, so I'd never really lived in Mandurah. I didn't have any connections here. But I think the whole concept of BWA is fantastic, because having an organisation that's empowered by women in business, I think is a great idea, because it's hard enough being, a female in business to start with, but also trying to grow a business in Mandurah. Both of those things combined do have their challenges, especially being in a somewhat male-dominated industry. It can be quite hard, and I do find that sometimes I do get spoken down to. So it is, fantastic having, a group of women in business to be able to lift you up, bounce ideas off of, get ideas from, and just kind of keep the momentum going. I also like the idea of having, round table discussions and just being able to do exactly that, bounce ideas off. And if there's anything that people are kind of struggling with or wanting ideas from, having, a huge kind of business directory of women around is fantastic. So I manage properties from as far south as Bunbury, so I am always down that way. And being pregnant, I'm more than happy to carpool and be Deso driver for anyone for the evening events. And then manage properties as far north up as around Queen's Park, Perth kind of area around the airport. So I do cover quite a broad area. So that's me.
Excellent.
Right.
Thanks, Megan.
Thanks for joining us today, Megan. It was great.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, Michelle, who's actually a Bunbury member. Welcome, Michelle.
There we go. Hi. So I'm from the Bunbury chapter. I've only been, it's been a few months. I was not long before the outbreak. So I head up WIN TV for WA. So we take care of all of the television marketing and advertising across the state. So we deal with anything from national companies through to one person operations, and tailor marketing solutions to suit. So yeah, anything from tiny little budgets right up to the big national level spends. So and it's all about working in with, obviously digital media is exceptionally important. But yeah, about working in with digital media and what you guys have going on, working on that engagement through the digital media. What you find now is people literally have their phone next to the TV and and go straight to Google. And that's how we search these days. We don't do it by phone numbers anymore. So we sit down and work on individual solutions for businesses. It's great. I've only been in Bunbury for coming up to 12 months. I've come from over east. Love it here, building a house now, so I'm staying.
Cool. Thanks, Michelle. Okay, Jay, who's also a Bunbury member. Welcome, Jay.
Good morning. So I'm the manager at the Southwest Wellbeing Centre. I'm a psychologist and a counsellor and a coach. And I primarily joined BWA probably 3 or 4 years ago for friendship and connecting with women. And I really enjoy learning and professional development as well. So learning about different topics that help with our business is great. Over the last few years, I've attended Mandurah events as well as some Perth ones, and just really enjoy the opportunity to connect in with other women and learn and develop our businesses better. Yeah, thanks.
Excellent, thanks, Jay. Pile, who's a Perth member.
Hi everyone. I've had problems with Zoom previously, so I'm hoping you can all hear me. And
yes, perfectly.
I think Cathy and Pauline did a very nice introduction for me before, so maybe I'll skip the whole photography bit. I've been hiding up a little bit, and it's really nice to see everybody's faces again. Like, I've been really huddled up in my house and in myself. But for photography, yes, please get in touch. And I've been accused of being too generous with my time, but that basically means you can harass me with messages about tips. I can't obviously do photography over online, but if you want to know and ask some questions, what would work, what wouldn't work, I'm always happy to help. Message me on Messenger or find me wherever you find me. One tip for today. May I do a tip?
Absolutely.
Get a tripod and get a phone holder and put your phone a little bit higher than you are, because this angle is always a little bit better, and look where you're sitting, because you can see right now I have a lot of natural light coming in my face, so you can actually see my face. I've noticed in Zoom meetings a lot of people sit in a dark corner, so you can't really see the person. So that's one tip. Second tip, if you're doing videos, because I've been doing a lot of video work lately, get a different camera app that allows you to do manual settings, because the original camera apps usually want to focus and swap white balance, which means that your video will be doing this all the time, but the manual ones actually work really nicely. If you get a camera app that lets you set manual lighting and manual white balance, then it doesn't flicker through the video. And I have another one, which is a question for anyone who wants to answer, if we have time to answer, because I've been doing a lot of video lately, and I've been looking at YouTube, the insights that YouTube gives you when you look at your video stats. Do you have any specific tips to increase retention? Because we're losing a lot of audience, and I have some ideas, but maybe you guys have some better ideas how to increase the retention. We're losing them like about 30%. Go till the end, the rest of them drop out. So obviously we need to do something midway through, but what would that be? Thank you.
Thanks, Hilary. So with your YouTube, you will always get drop off towards the end, depending on what people have come in and looked for. And of course, our lives are so busy. So even though we're really interested in your content, it might be a case of the children have come in, the spouses come in, the phones, batteries dropped off, you only had 15 minutes and your video's 18 minutes, so you don't watch the end. It depends how long your video is and what kind of topic you're on. So YouTube likes longer videos, but majority of people don't unless they're really interested. Of course, the other thing is that they do often rewind them if there's something specific that they're watching. So it depends a little bit on your content, but I would try varying your lengths. Try cutting some of your longer ones up into shorter ones, vary your length, and yeah, definitely put something in the middle that can re-engage people that might be starting to drop off a bit. Okay, and we might go to Gay next. Welcome, Gay.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, lovely to see you all, some familiar faces. I'm Gay from, well, I know a lot of you, but yeah, Gay from Simply Savvy Web. I'm based in Mandurah. And yeah, I work with micro business owners, so helping them to create, update, and get better results from their website. So my background's in IT, and so most of my clients, I look after their hosting and ongoing management of their website, so they don't have to worry about that techie side of things. And yeah, I've been in business for 5 years now. I used to be a member of Businesswomen Australia when we had the Mandurah chapter going, when Pauline was running the chapter down here, and really enjoyed those the get-togethers we had, the workshops, and yeah, that's about it really.
Thanks,
I hope that you can join us again.
Yeah.
And I guess that's one thing we didn't mention too, is there's a lot of networking groups around that only allow one member per category. So as you're going to hear in a minute, there's actually 3 of us on here today who are involved in websites, and there's 2 of us on here that are involved in social media. So it's not one person per category. And you might think that's a bit scary, but Gay and Esther and I all know each other quite well. We bounce ideas off each other. We're involved in a couple of industry groups in Perth that we get together, sometimes online, sometimes in person, regularly. So it is about making the pie big enough for everybody, so everybody gets a bigger piece, rather than just trying to hold your tiny little bit and go, oh my God, I've got 2 people who actually do the same as I do. Well, yes, they do, but no, they don't, because we all work in slightly different areas and industries. So if I've got a really micro business come to me, we don't do micro businesses. So I would actually refer them to Gay. I've actually had jobs before that didn't suit me, so I've referred them to Esther's team. So it means that you become a bit more of an authority in your industry, and you can really start to hone down the fact that, no, I don't want to deal with micro businesses, but I don't want to leave those people in the lurch either. So by handing them on to Gay, perfect. Everybody gets a win. So that is another thing that's a bit different with BWA.
Yeah, so and as I explained, BWA, we're a support group. We're not a referral group as such. Yes, you will. Referrals do happen. It's part of being and supporting each other. But we're more the support group. We're there to. It's a lonely business, as Megan said. It's hard enough doing business as a female, but it's also lonely when, like Megan, I know she works on her own. I spend. Well, I'm the only female in my group, let alone all the men on the site. So it's lonely for me as a female. Yes, I get plenty of camaraderie on site with the guys, but then I'm the only female as well. So this is good for me because it keeps me connected to other women all doing business. So it is. I look at it more as a support group that helps us grow, not just as our business, but as individuals as well. So and we can all help each other to do that.
Perfect. And we'll go to Sandra next, please.
Hi, I'm Sandra. So my business is called the Sunflower Factory Virtual Assistant. So my aim is helping small business owners work on their business rather than in their business. So looking after their social media, newsletters, newsletters. I've been doing ebooks, PowerPoints, manuals, presentations along those lines as well. So not the admin side of things. That's not my area expertise. So I have also been down to the Bunbury one on a car drive down with Sue, which was lots of fun, and met Cathy and a couple of other ladies. Their names and faces are familiar, which is really good. So I'm interested in coming along to the Mandurah one and finding out some more about it as well.
That's good.
That's good.
Excellent. Thanks, Sandra. Esther.
Remember to unmute myself. Hi, I'm Esther Anderson. I'm from Tech Design and Marketing. I've been in the business about 15 years. And Megan, we must have a catch up because I spent 18 years in Karratha. And so I've been back down here about, 4 years. If you ask me, I'd say 2, but time just seems to whiz by. Yes, we do websites. We're very much a different agency, and very much what Cathy said. It's the same as if you have a doctor, and a doctor has all the different specialities. Same with websites. I'm a digital strategist, which means we take into account your website, search engines, and social media, as well as a lot of things in between. For example, when people set up a website, they don't realise that they then have to do the newsletters, or if they're setting up an e-commerce store, what's the integration and the email funnel, the marketing funnel, and so on. My clients range from authors that they wrote a book, we designed it, we had it published, we've got it in the fulfillment warehouse, sell it from their website. She also does online training courses. So we've built the portal, we video her presenting, we put that together with the course, and now she's not only just selling the courses on an individual basis, but we build the platform, so she sells the license to BHP and Rio and so on. We work with groups like Chamber of Commerce and building their side integration. We do social media and event management, but it's slightly different. We don't usually, unless it's customized request, deal with small local clients. We work with like politicians, CEOs, directors who want to find out more about their company and what is the underlying aspect. We've done 2 local elections and a state election where we have pseudo profiles that go in and listen to the heartbeat of the location and report back, so then the politician to be can actually address those issues or understand what people want from them, expectations. One thing, Pile, what you're saying about YouTube, and I agree with all that Cathy said, but I find that retention has dropped off. So you used to, whether it be content you write, the beginning, the middle and an end, now you almost have to start with the middle. With you do a snippet, for 1.5 minutes of what you're going to get into, so you capture people like that. Then they'll listen to you do the introduction to yourself and what you're going to go over. But then I find that you can almost cut off the ending. And unless it's the dynamics on how something works and that you go into great detail and it might go for an hour, I find that whether it's posts on Facebook, whether it's any kind of video, Facebook likes 3-minute videos, but now I find that I almost cap it at 1 minute unless I'm doing an explainer, because people haven't got the time. And the average person used to look at 250 pieces of content on their phone each day. Now with COVID, it's something like 650. And so you can never almost post too much, as long as it's of value, because you're competing with everybody else. And when people flick through, it's like, I'm sure ask the others, we don't write content anymore unless you've got an image that's a disruptor or a piece of video that catches people's attention. Then they will go back and read your content. But if people just put words there, you might as well honestly don't bother, because you won't get any engagement. So it's my tip for the day is really, if you're and you're a professional, make sure that you have updated your profile on LinkedIn and you've created a company page. Went to a local chamber event recently and I wanted to I took a photo with a group of people, so I thought, as you do, you tag the businesses that you're standing next to. They didn't have a presence on LinkedIn. Out of the 5, only 2 did. So there is, it's almost like networking, or your elevated pitch that you have, you can't give. So build your network, and you only have to post, even if it's just once or twice a month, it doesn't matter. But I suggest definitely build a company page for whatever business you've got, and you get high quality leads and so on. So we offer a lot of education programs. My office is based in Make Place, out the back there. I don't necessarily come out the front. And I have a studio based at home as well. So if ever you want the conference room for an event, we can organise that from Make Place. But we do a lot of training and sharing of information, because one of the hardest things is, when I say people generally, but a lot of women don't understand technology. And even if it comes to that, they get a new phone and then they say, I'll give it to my son to do. And I go, okay, he's 16. So for the rest of your life, you're going to get your son to program your phone. And we sit down with people, we explain whether it be technology, digital, online, internet, cyber safety. And we do a lot of that sharing of information freely, definitely. And because we want to educate people, then we may be able to sell them something, which is a bonus. But if we don't, it doesn't bother us. It's part of our company ethos, is that we educate people. So Happy at any time if anybody wants to find out further to hit me up. I used to belong to BPW many years ago, Business and Professional Women in Karratha, and they were quite good back then, and it's through Cathy finding BWA down here. I live in Rockingham, my office is in Mandurah, but it's good to find other like-minded, smart people that you can have conversations with. So it's like, I didn't have children, I have 3 cats, and so baby photos to me are all like kittens. And so I always like to hear about the person themselves. Too many women classify themselves as a mother, and I'm not putting that position down, but it's, well, what are they as a person? And everybody looks at them as a mother, and then I get to meet them and I'm hearing about their study, their education, what they're sharing. I think, gosh, you know, they're so clever, but everybody lumps them as little Jimmy's mother, you know. And so that's why I like groups like this, because you learn so much from other people. So
Excellent. Thanks, Esther.
Thank
Linda.
Just unmuting myself. Okay, so I'm very new. My business is very new. I'm still building it as we speak. My company's called Hypothetical Consultancy. So my background is in sales in retail and leasing, to be specific. So my business model is basically consulting businesses on how to potentially look at advertising outside of their tenancy. So today we're looking at digital marketing, whereas I look at the physical presence. So if you're in the middle of a mall, if you're in a pop-up shop, if you're outside in a market, there's a lot of people that I've come across in the, over the decade I've been in retail that feel that they understand and know the market and how to set up in front of people. But when it comes to reality, there's a lot of things that people just don't understand and get when they're putting themselves in front of others. So I try and help them to expand that knowledge, get them, it's very customized. The service is very customized. So if a client comes to me, I'm in there and I'm like, okay, right, well, what is your business model? What do you want to do? If you're working outside of your tenancy, what do you want to achieve? Is it leads? Is it sales? And we go through this checklist until I figure out exactly what is it that they're looking for. And we push past those boundaries. So I'm very good at getting to the actual core issue of why they want to expand outside of their tenancy. That's kind of where I want to go with my company and move in that sort of direction. So I also can help people to find locations. So if they're looking to do a permanent lease or anything like that, we can nut out sort of, what are the areas you want to go to? What's the demographic? What's the, what are the people that you're looking for? So with having such intel knowledge from working in shopping centre industries for the last decade, it's given me that knowledge to go, you know what, I've finished with the shopping centres per se, inside centre management, and I've left thinking, you know what, I want to try this on my own. I've been waiting 40 years to own my own business. So I thought, right, this is it. I'm 40, I've got to run my own business. I'm going to take the bull by the horns and see where I go with it. And working currently with the Peel Chamber of Commerce to help them out with memberships at the moment, which is helping me engage the community, get to understand what businesses' needs are. And I've gone to the Mandurah Forum to see if we can set up an expo-style event in November, where we can have our members come in and set up on a let's say on a table with a pull-up banner, which is not currently what we all I want to sort of see, but just for the day, just having those businesses within the mall. Last time I held one in June last year with John Tonkin, we had like 54 operators there, and it was such a successful day. There were so many people that, got generated leads for their business, but also retailers were happy, sales were up, traffic was up in the centre, and that's something that I wanted to continue on because we hadn't done it in shopping centres before. So I think with the economy and the way things have gone with COVID, this idea that it's just one business per site sort of thing has gone to the wayside, and we're needing to look for better ideas and more engaging displays. Because if you go to shopping centres or you go to markets, we all know what it's like. It's the same shit, different day. Do you know what I mean? And we want excitement, and people just don't know how to do that. They think of, we're just going to have a box table, or we're going to have a trestle table, a cloth, pull-up banner, and we're going to pray that the people will come to my table, and I'll sell a shitload, and I'll be fine. But it's not the case. It's not the case, and that's where I come into it. I sort of get in there and I sort of crack open their heads and like, what is it that you want to achieve? So I'm an ideas person, but I also help and train those people to become more aware of what they're actually doing and why they're doing it. So that's where the consultancy sort of side of my business is where I wanted to go. I think today I got out of this whole group is that it's I feel great talking to you ladies. Like, being away from the shopping centre industry, I had like lots of people to talk to, and now it's just me. And like when I go in the office with Peel Chamber, I have the guys there in the office, but it's not the same, So I'm looking to work with other business women, because I've never joined a business women group before, so it's really nice to have people like yourself with all that experience that I can talk to, and talking about digital marketing today. I think one of the ladies had said that the social media posts and the content telling them about your services, rather than just content, was really helpful for me today as well. And even little things like the business card colours, and it's little tips like that I picked up from today. I thought these sorts of things are really beneficial. So really looking forward to being part of the group, and can't wait to come to the next one.
Excellent. And don't forget Bunbury as well, because you've
yes.
got heaps of scope down there. Fantastic. Now we're getting a bit close on time, so we will throw to Pauline and then a very quick close off.
Okay, so Linda, I'm on the board of Peel Chamber of Commerce. It's finally nice to put a face to a name. So I'm looking forward to having some conversations with you too. I am a business designer. I have spent the last 15 years coaching, consulting, mentoring small to medium-sized businesses. Absolutely love what I do. There's no point doing marketing if you don't know how to sell. So I'm very big on learning to sell and getting your finances sorted out, getting your business model straight so it actually works for you and you enjoy it as much as you possibly can. And that's as quick as I'm going to be. Thanks, Cathy.
Oh, you didn't have to be that quick. And if you like the way Pauline talks, she was my very first podcast interviewee. And we did way back in February last year, how to fall in love with your business, and she's got some absolutely wonderful tips about reinvigorating your business. So look out for Small Business Talk on wherever you find your podcasts, so iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Heart, all the rest, or YouTube. We're on YouTube as well. So Pauline is a great wealth of knowledge, and yes, I didn't mean to cut you that short, but that's okay. All right. Okay, so I might just quickly go back to sharing the screen if it'll let me.
Go back to that screen. I just want to answer something that Linda actually said. Linda, you mentioned about, this would be the first women's group you have considered joining. It was for me as well, and I was very sceptical at my first one because, to be honest, a group of women gas bagging and talking babies is not my cup of tea. And a few that I'd been to in Perth, that's actually what I ended up, and I didn't stay with them. But the first one I went to, where Pauline was the leader there, and I met some wonderful women, I was very impressed, and I felt right at home because, apart from the fact they made me feel that way, but we all literally were all on the same wavelength. We all were talking. There was no talk of babies anywhere in the whole meeting. It was wonderful. So that's the reason why I will continue to stick with them and support them, and hopefully get this chapter back up and running again. So thanks for everyone coming along from me, and I'll let Cathy finish that off.
And yes, I think Pauline was the same, and I was definitely the same. Coming from male-dominated industries, we had never been involved in women's groups either. In fact, I used to shudder and run. But having said that, we will definitely allow mothers, and Megan, don't run away. We can talk babies if you need us to. So
that's the last thing I want to talk about is babies anyway, so it's fine.
So thank you very much, everybody, for coming. So these are our local and signature events that are coming up So definitely don't discount Bunbury, because we are only 45 minutes, 50 minutes, depending on where you are. And the drive south is definitely much better than the drive north, and there's no borders, so you don't have to stop and be fleeced, so you're all good. So the next event will be in Bunbury in the 23rd of July, so definitely consider that. And then the in-person one for Mandurah, of course, will be the 19th of August. So jump on Eventbrite and have a look at that. And like I said, if you're interested but don't want to consider membership straight up, you're still more than welcome to attend as a non-member.
Yeah, we won't put a limit on how often you can attend as a non-member.
No, you can continue to attend as a non-member as much as you like, so that is fine, but definitely worth considering membership, as you do get some exclusive things as well. So thank you very much, ladies. Really appreciate you attending, and watch this space in regards to the name, and we will send out a thank you email with all the links on it. Yep. So have a absolutely wonderful day, everybody, and hopefully we will see you around very shortly.
And thanks for making the first one a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.